Hello, hello. Thanks for tuning in to watch this. This video is going to be a bit of a tutorial on how to use the concrete factory on the server. I'm going to show you how to get there. I'm going to show you how to safely turn it on, how to keep it running, how to turn it off, and then how to get the items that you've farmed in your operation of it. Okay, so the first step is to get there, and if we use the nether hub as a starting point for your reference, we're going to go out the east tunnel, take a left. You're going to just exit out the tunnel here. Hop down on this netherrack pad. You're going to go fly south. So east tunnel, take a left, fly south. Eventually we'll hook it up to the south tunnel, but right now you need to actually fly in the wild nether. And you'll just see that path that I took. I'll fly it again. It's a pretty simple path. It's not very close. I'm sorry, it's not very far. Just a couple, like 100 blocks. A couple turns and you'll see it, but again, it's right through here. You're going to go straight, and then as soon as you get to some land, you're going to turn right, go under these lava streams, and then on the last one, you're going to turn left around and over these hills and in the lava plains, and then you're going to find this jut out bridge thing of the lava here. You're going to want to land on that. See what I mean about the south hub tunnel? We'll connect it eventually, but that's for reference where this thing is right now. You're going to go down this ladder. That's where the overworld side of the farm is. It's where the end portal that we used for the duping is. Go in this nether portal, we'll see it. You're going to want to set your spawn at this bed here. I've already done it, so it won't do anything for me, but the next step is starting it safely. So we've gotten here, the next step is starting it safely. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick which blocks you want to dupe. These are all the ones in the game that you can dupe. That I know how to do. If you know, maybe leave a comment if there's one in here that you know how to do with this same method, of course. We're not going to dupe items like any item, but these are the ones that are the gravity block ones, right? That fall when you break them. Okay, so you're going to pick the ones you want. I'm just going to say 12 red sand for now, but it can be literally any combination. And you're going to put them on the slime blocks, these slime blocks, not the ones back there, not down there, these ones by the portal box. And you're not going to turn it on yet. You're not going to do that yet. What you're going to do is after you set your spawn, you're actually going to jump into the end. The reason you're not going to turn it on yet is because you need to make sure it's in the right mode. If you picked anything that isn't concrete powder, you want to make sure it's not in concrete mode. So if it's not concrete, you don't want it to be in concrete mode. It might be in concrete mode, and if it is, you need to turn it back to sand mode. Because right now, if I launch that red sand, it's going to come through here, and it's going to go into this machine over here, and it's not going to get turned into a solid block like concrete does, and instead it's going to clog this part and break the piston pushers here that pump the concrete into the TNT blast chamber. Okay, so like I said, we want it to be in sand mode for red sand, so we're going to put it to sand mode. This button here, this note block, it just turns on glass mode, turns it back off. And you don't have to worry about sending stuff in that isn't regular sand when it's in glass mode. Like I'm about to send in red sand, but if I was all sending in like gravel and it was in glass mode, that's not going to break anything, but you are going to lose all your items, and here's why. Because when it's in glass mode, it's directing the items over here into the furnaces, but it only picks up sand with these item sorters. So if it's gravel or red sand, it's just going to get burned. But we don't want that right now because it's red sand and we're not trying to make glass. So the water, with glass modes off, the items are going to go this way and follow this convoluted water stream here. And then they're going to fall in whatever filter they land in. So if they were glass from the smelter down there, they would land in this big block. As you can see, it's labeled glass. This one's sand. Sand would get filtered into this section. Gravel, this one. Red sand, this one. Anything that isn't these, so if it was just concrete powder, they would not get sorted, but they would just fall into the overflow massive array of chests here. So they would pass all the filters, fall down here, and then get put into these chests. And anything that's extra, so if these ever get filled up, which is very unlikely, it would just get burned, so you wouldn't have to worry about that. Okay, so that's like one of the first steps of starting the farm. So after you've made sure it's in the right mode, then you can start it. Before you start it, you need to make sure that the end is loaded. What you're going to do is you're going to either make sure someone is in the end, or you are in the end, but if you're going to start it, then you can't stay in the end because you can't be in two places at once. So that command I just used, the player command, I will make sure if you need to use it, I can just give you permissions to use it. It's not a default command that everybody has permissions for, but what it does basically is what you just saw. It creates an NPC that the game treats as a player, so it'll actually load the chunks around this NPC as if it was me or a real player. And the game will run correctly and the redstone will all work, but if it wasn't here, the redstone would break and then the farm would break if I started sending blocks through. Okay, so again, it's that command /player, then whatever name you give it, and then spawn is how you create one. If you want to kill it, you would just replace the word spawn with kill and he would leave. But I want him to be here because I need him to load the end, because I need to go back to the overworld. This is the next step of starting the farm. We need to go back to the overworld, and we need to press the lever on the wall to turn it on. And we're not going to hop in right away. You're going to look in the bottom right of the subtitles. With my sound subtitles, you're going to see so right now it says portal whooshes, footsteps, water drips. If I click this lever, you're going to hear lever clicks or whatever, but you're also going to hear minecart rolls, and that's because down here we have a chunk loader which turns on whenever the farm is on, and that keeps the overworld side loaded even when a player is not here. We can't do that in the end because we don't have nether portals in the end, but we can do it in this overworld half of the farm. So you're going to look in the bottom right, you're going to see the minecart sounds. There's one, and when you hear it the second time, that means, there it was the second time, that means it's safe to go through because that means the chunk loader's on completely, and I can now go through here and it's safe to not have a player there as long as the chunk loader's on. So you see the sand's going to come through easy peasy, and it's going, if we follow its path, it's going to fall down here in this water stream all the way up here, and it should be getting filtered out right in this slice. You're going to see some passing it, but it actually is, this redstone means the filter is working. You're going to see some passing it, and that's because I didn't design this part very smartly. That's on me. You're not doing anything wrong. That was my fault. I should have made like 2 more slices instead of 1 for the red sand, because it's missing like 9 out of the 12 or 8 out of the 12, and they're landing over in the bulk storage over here. See, but the rest of it is getting filled up in shulker boxes up here, this one, and when that's full, it's going to go down there. So that's how you start the farm. The way you keep using the farm, there's only one rule. It's very simple. Don't leave it running when the server resets. It's I can check it real quick and check the time, but it's also in a channel in Discord called MC Server Info. The server resets every day at 5:26 a.m. Eastern Time, and that means when that happens, all players are logged off, all chunks are unloaded, and then the server restarts. All the chunks are still off because it completely restarts the world. So what happens is it acts like a single player world that you're not on anymore when the server's restarted. So the farm would be off, but it would technically still be on. And what I mean by that is if you were to re-log on, it would be like you just loaded it for the first time, like the chunks were off, but they were kind of frozen. So when you come and reload them, it's going to resume the farm. It's going to work for like 10 seconds, and then it's going to break because redstone breaks or this type of redstone breaks, and when it's unloaded and reloaded like that. So what you need to do is you need to always make sure the farm is off before 5:26 a.m. Eastern Time, before you restart it after the server reset, because if it's on during the reset, then the farm will break. So that's the only rule of keeping it, of using the farm. When you're while you're using it, you need to make sure it's off before the server restarts. The next step is turning it off. And what you're going to do for that is pretty simple. Just leave this guy here so he doesn't, so the farm's still loaded. And you're just going to go back and turn the switch off. So I'm going to walk over to the switch, I'm going to turn it off, and then I'm going to mine all the blocks. Oops, accidentally broke a slime. Then you're going to mine all the gravity blocks that you placed that you were duping. Because we don't leave any on the slime for the next person because they need to pick out what they want. They might not want red sand. We also need to put everything back in the box. So you notice I'm missing 2 of them. And what happened was when I broke them, they fell in the portal. So easy way to fix that, just go in and collect them. I just landed on the obsidian pad where they were sitting. Go fly back and put those back in the chest. So that's the second part of turning off the farm. You need to clean up after yourself. You filthy animal. Put the stuff back in the chest. Chunk loader's off down there. Minecart's not rolling. That's because the farm's off. So if I go through again, I can now safely turn off this robot because the farm's not running. So it can't break if it's not running. So I can turn the robot off, and it'll be fine. That's how you turn off the farm. The next and final step is getting the items you want. This step, it may look complicated with all these like buttons and dispensers and stuff, but it's actually pretty easy. So you need to decide what you want when it comes to getting your items. Do you want a whole bunch of them? Do you want like a bunch of shulker boxes of items? Or do you just want like maybe a stack or 2? Let's say you want a bunch of shulker boxes of items. What you're going to do is you're going to come to the item you want. Let's say it's glass. And you're going to look in the dispenser. Not this shulker box, not this chest. You're going to look in the dispenser because that's where they funnel down to first. And here there will be shulker boxes full of the item you want. Let's say I wanted like 3. I'd just take 3. I'd be on my way. I'd go home. But if I didn't want shulker boxes, say I wanted the other thing, I just wanted like a stack or like 2 stacks, I wouldn't go in here because I don't want this many. I would go into the shulker box, and this is storing them in a more smaller amounts. Here I have access to 1 shulker box, and I can just take 3 stacks if I want. That's all I need. If I want 4, I can just take another one. I can just leave, be on my way. And what that will do is that will leave 3 or this much left for the next person if they want to come. This isn't a problem because let's say I was the last person to come here and there was like 2 stacks left. I emptied the box. Can't demonstrate this because it would just be a little messy, but let's say I did take everything out of here. I emptied the box. What it will do is it'll automatically replace itself with a box in here. If it can't do that, it'll just return to this state where there's no shulker box display on. So yeah, if I just wanted a couple stacks of glass, I just walk up, look in the shulker box, take them, leave, go on my way. I wouldn't have to worry about getting a new box down here or anything because this is supposed to be partially emptied until it is completely empty. These, though, you don't want to put back as partially empty. If you take one, you only need some, that's bad. You need to take the whole box if you take it from here. Because when it refills this, it's hoping that it has a full box to do it. So, and it just depends on what you want. You can take a whole box, you can take some small amount of the item. And you can do that with any of the items that are sorted. Sand, gravel, red sand, or glass. Or these 16 types of concrete. We've got literally every color here, and you'll notice there are 3 slices for each color, and that's because I actually built this part right. If you set up the duper in the overworld to do 12 white concrete powders, it would actually sort all of them in these 3 slices over in the end. And doesn't look like I've done that, but it does have the capability to store a lot of white concrete at once. Like, I've only used 1 slice, and this is how many. This is already a lot of white concrete, but you can see it has the capability to store like probably 1 million. I don't know the quick math there. I think it's like 100,000 for 1 double chest is how many items you can fit in if they're all in shulker boxes. So yeah, that's about like 1 million white concrete or orange concrete, or whatever concrete you could have you want. There's one more thing I didn't cover. Let's say there's a box in this dispenser that there's no display for, but you only want a couple stacks. This is not a very common occurrence, but I'll just explain anyway. You can't get a couple like stacks of the white concrete in this case because it's not displayed. So that's what this button's here for. If this is this slice's first full box, then you'll just press the button and it'll dispense it. And now you can take a couple stacks if you want. So yeah, that's what you do if there's no display. You only want a couple, but there is still some in that slice. These note blocks up here, they are for resetting the sorter. So it's not gonna break the box that's already there. But if there wasn't a box there, because say we ran out of boxes in the storage, that would replace it with a box if we refill the storage. And you would notice that that's a problem that you need to fix if, like, you were even running the white concrete for a while, let's say, and you see it's being blown up, you see it's going up there, but you're not getting any, and it's been like an hour and you still haven't seen a box show up here. That's probably because it's all being dispensed by these droppers here and just sitting on these blocks here and not into shulker boxes or out of shulker boxes. So again, if that happens, you would just press this note block to put a new shulker box out, and then it'll all get put in shulker boxes and sorted down here nicely for you to collect. Alright, this has been a lot, but there's one more final step, or not step, but like thing you should know. It's not a big deal, but basically, if this lights are on, that means we're really low on shulker boxes, that everything is sorted in, which obviously is crucial to the storage of this farm. So that's bad. You need to put more shulker boxes in, and you do that by putting them in this barrel. And the rest of that is history, because the farm will take care of it for you. But basically, it stores like, I think this is like 10,000 shulker boxes it can store. It's an insane amount, but you would basically need to craft a bunch of shulker boxes and then just feed them into here, and it'll just gobble them up until this light turns off, which means we have enough. So right now you can see we have enough. Okay, that's everything. I tried to talk as fast as I could so I could get through everything quickly, but if you're still confused on anything, leave a comment or tell me in the Discord. I'd prefer you tell me in the Discord. Then I'll try to get back to you on that and clarify whatever you don't understand. The signs you'll see around just tell you what I've already said in this video. So if you watch the video and you understand how to use it, then it's no big deal what the signs say, as long as you know your stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the server.